Andrew, you called your previous work the world's second oldest profession in your book. Can you explain that, just the history and how it applies to present time?
Well, that's the joke is that the spying intelligence, it's the second oldest profession in the world that, it's been around forever. And I think it's, that is the case. And it's proven to be because of its relevance. I think it's incredibly relevant today as it was before. We look at what's happening now, and for whatever we think about the outcomes, I think that intelligence and information gathering is to provide decision makers with information to make better decisions. So of course they want more information and more intelligence so they can make better risk informed decision making. That's been forever. So I think that's why it's been around. And obviously, it's kind of the quip of it's the second, and of course,
right. And for folks who want to get into this industry, I guess the whole point of your book is to let them know that it's a very attainable and achievable career.
Absolutely. When I joke, I wish I had a cool story that I was recruited in some graduate studies class, but the reality is I applied online. When I was living in London and working in finance, and the bombs were going off and I wanted to get involved, I Googled, how do I become a Canadian spy? It was not more complex than that, and went through the steps. And when I did, I realized there's not a lot of information about what it is what CSIS is, the Canadian Security Intelligence Service, what it does, what it's like to work there. And so I wanted to pass that along to the next generation. I get asked a lot of questions about my experience. How did I get in? What did I do? Why I left? And these are all things that I think would be helpful to people who are interested in a career. Maybe think about a road not traveled, or just are curious about what Canadian spies do, and what's that like. We have a lot of CIA books and Mossad books, and maybe we can have a CSIS book.
Right. And what are some of the key takeaways from the book? If viewers go and purchase the book tonight, what are they going to take away from this read?
Well, I think they would be very, sometimes we have this idea of the single spy running around, doing everything themselves. And I hope what I'm able to articulate is it's a real team effort. There are a lot of different people at CSIS. There's the intelligence officers, there's surveillance, communications analysts, the human sources, the people we meet with, the folks like myself who are back in a policy room reviewing the reports. So there's a whole apparatus that is working hard and working together. And then also that we rely so much on the public. I go out, I'd say, knocking on doors, showing my badge, saying, my name is Andrew. I'm here from CSIS and I need your help. And for the most part, I was received with a blank stare. And I'd say, CSIS, we investigate threats. And people would say, oh, the police. I'd say, not exactly. We're intelligence service. And I would go through, what it is. So I also hope that maybe a few more people become familiar with CSIS, the important work that it does as a part of the intelligence community. And so when the next intelligence officer knocks on the door and they say, oh, I'm here. Oh, okay, yes, I have some broad understanding of what you do. And Andrew seemed nice, and your work seems important. I'm happy to help you. So that's
well. I
really,
also would imagine that's not the kind of knock you would want at your door.
We get a lot of surprised people, and of course, the first question is, "Why are you here? Why do you want to talk to me?" And so that's one of the things too to explain. Look, we ask for help from the public. You haven't done anything wrong. We think you have information. We think you would be willing to help us. And I hope that we can have a conversation. So that's absolutely that. I'd say I spend most of my time frightening and then reassuring the 99% of the public that is, very, very law-abiding and well-being to Canada and all these things, while I was searching for the 1% that wanted to do Canada harm. So that, and we rely on the public for that very, very much.
Yes, lots of cooperation. And I would imagine that cooperation extends to our foreign counterparts as well, working with the US and other nations.
Absolutely. So, one of the things I also try to explain is that Canada doesn't have a foreign intelligence service, right? We are exclusively a domestic security service. And so we must work very closely with our counterparts, the Five Eyes community, the Americans, the British, the Australians, the New Zealand, extremely, extremely close to share information where appropriate and where we can, because we rely on it. We're obviously a small to our neighbor to our American neighbor. And we work closely with them because we have a shared interest in national security and ours in North American security. But absolutely, they big part of the intelligence family.